What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a mint on card market update. Lots of really nice sales on eBay. Early 12 backs. We've got some 20 backs all the way through the Power of the Force line. Some just incredible sales here. And there is absolutely no slowdown. I keep saying that. I keep waiting for a slowdown in some of these prices, but high grades equals really, really high prices. And I have to say that I'm just as shocked as most of you are with how well the vintage Star Wars action figure market is holding up. There's just no slowdown in prices. So let's go ahead and dig right in. This seller, Battleground Games and Comics, had a number of really nice 12 and 20 backs, all AFA graded, that sold here on eBay here recently, all in auctions as well. And this one was a gorgeous unpunched AFA 75 small head Han Solo. That is a mouthful. Beautiful, beautiful example. Unpunched, no price sticker, just gorgeous. And it sold in an auction for $2,250 plus $20 shipping. The subgrades were 75, 75, 80. So, I wonder what an AFA 85 would sell for these days on eBay for a Han Solo small head 12 back A. I mean, this has got to be a very, very expensive item and even higher grade. But for a 75 grade, it looks like about $2,300 is going to be the going rate right now. The same seller also had a yellowed blister AFA 80 Princess Leia. This was another 12 back A. And the subgrades were 75, 85, 80, and it had just very faint yellowing. I'd say moderate yellowing, at least on the left side there. So that kept the price down just a little bit. And don't quote me on this, but it does look like a Hong Kong figure, a Taiwan figure inside, and it is a Taiwan figure. You can see there on the lower right-hand corner on the back, it says Made in Taiwan. And you can kind of tell when you look at the face sculpt on this one. It's just a slightly different face sculpt for the Taiwan Princess Leia. It's very distinctive, but it is subtle. And again, it was a yellowed 80, pretty gorgeous example. It did have a price sticker, and it was punched, which held the price down just a little bit, some kind of pulling away around the hang tab. But still, $2,075 took that home plus $20 shipping. So, if you can live with a yellow blister, that keeps the price down just a little bit on an early Taiwan Princess Leia. Next up, oh man, I wanted this one so bad. This was an AFA 80 12-back C Darth Vader. I'd love to have a 12-back Vader in my collection one day. 75, 85, 85 were the subgrades. Beautiful crystal clear blister. You can see a little bit of creasing right there near the blister. It did have a price tag, and it was punched, but wow, what an awesome example. It seems to be pretty harshly graded to get a 75 with just that one crease on there. Well, you can see that crease that it does come on the back side there, on the right-hand side. So, whether that's really a 75 or not, I don't know. But that's what they gave the card score. It seems pretty harsh to me. But it did get the overall 80. So, who's to complain there? $2,024 on 45 bids. So all of these got really, a lot of bid action on them. This was a 12-back C AFA 80 R2-D2. This one had no price sticker, and it was punched, but a beautiful crystal clear blister. Great sub-scores, all of them 80s. And this was just another gorgeous example that this seller had. $1,649 took that home. I remember back in the day where an AFA 80 R2-D2 would set you back about $1,200. And when I say back in the day, I mean like a year and a half ago. So now they're going for about $1,650 plus $20 shipping. But certainly a nice looking example. Pretty surprised at the sales price on this one. This was an AFA 75 C3PO 12-back B. It was punched with no price sticker, but for a 75 grade, 75, 85, 85, so two high sub scores admittedly, but $1,500 took that home. I was kind of expecting around $1,300 would nail that one, but $1,500 was the going rate on that one. So just gorgeous early card backs. This was a 12-back B. This was a great price if you can live with the lower price, the lower sub score and the lower overall score. It was an 80, 60, 80. So the blister had quite a bit of denting on it, and this one has the square bubble plastic tray. So a little bit harder to find this one with the plastic inner tray on that one. But for a 60 grade 12-back B, for $421. That to me seems like a pretty good deal. A nice budget-friendly example. I know that's still a lot of money for most of us, but it's awfully hard to get any kind of 12 back for under $500 nowadays. And to get it already graded for, let's call it about $440, that seems to be a pretty good buy there. Next up was an AFA 75 21 back B Death Star droid. It's a lot harder to find the 21 back Bs. That's been my experience, that the 21 back Bs do not show up nearly as much as the 21 back As. And this seller had not only the Death Star droid, but the R5D4. I really wanted the R5D4 in the 21 back B to go with my 21 back A, but it was just not meant to be, Shelly. $700 though. $700 for an AFA 75 Death Star droid, clear blister. It was punched with no price sticker. That to me seems like a really good buy relative to what some of the 21 back A's go for. And here was the R5D4. This is the one I really wanted to bid on, but I held back. I did not want to spend any money. I'm trying to save some money for Hakes. You know, who knows what those Hakes auctions will end up at. But this one was one that I really wanted to add to kind of pair with my 21 back A. I've got a 21 back A, straight 85s from CAS. This was a 21 back B, and this one was straight 80s. And the price, I mean, it went a little higher than I would have been willing to go anyway. It sold for $14.50. And, you know, where I live, I've got to pay another 9.25% sales tax for the state of Tennessee. So I just couldn't justify $14.50 anyway. I was hoping if it stayed around $1,200 or so, I might have pulled the trigger on it, but I probably still would not have. I'm a big wimp. But $14.50 took that one home, plus $20 shipping. Again, it's more than I would pay only because of the sales tax. You know, the sales tax where I live is just, it makes it really hard to bid on some of this stuff on eBay. But if you got a low sales tax, $14.50 is not bad. I would have had to have been around $1,200 or $1,300 to make it work, and it just wouldn't have happened. But 33 bids on that one, but it's certainly a gorgeous example. And the 21 back A and 21 back B, really the big difference is on the back of the card. It's just got some different play sets versus the 21 back A. But a really, really nice example there of the R5D4 clear blister. That was mouth-watering. I really wanted to get that one. Here was a 12-back R2-D2 mint on card. Now, this one had some degradation going on the figure. You can see some pink from where the white plastic has started to degrade. So, you know, that was something to look out for. It was ungraded, but it was punched, and it did have no price sticker. The card looked to be in great shape. Blister was in great shape. You can see the waffle pattern very clearly there. So it looks to be a legit early 12 back for R2-D2, but you know, it did have some degradation going on. 961 took that one home, and I think that would have been a lot higher if the figure did not have the pink going on with the figure. So again, you know, this one, I know it's a lot of money, but for a 12 back R2-D2 where the card and the blister are in great shape, that seems to be a pretty good price. Next up, this is one I believe I had in my what to buy video. And it did have a yellowed blister, but this is the 20 back C Princess Leia with the rocket firing Boba Fett offer. It was by no means perfect. I mean, it had some light issues with the sticker, some, you know, the sticker residue and some light litho tears, things like that. But in general, the car was in pretty good shape. This is probably like a 75 grade would be my guess, mainly because of the degradation to the leg there on Leia and the weapon had come loose. But it was listed for $11.50, and the best offer that was accepted was $10.50. So I think, again, that was a pretty good buy, and that's why I kind of featured it in my what to buy video. I just think it seemed to me like a pretty fair price if you can live with the slightly yellowed blister for an early Princess Leia card back. This was another pretty good deal. This was a 20 back D Death Star droid. It was unpunched, and it did have a price sticker, Zayre price sticker. I remember shopping at Zayre all the time with my mom and brother. But this one looked to be in pretty great shape overall. Probably a 75 grade would be my guess. I think the card had some light kind of folds and waviness to it. So you'd have to straighten that out in a star case or something. But overall, pretty great shape. It says C 8.5. I think at best it's probably an 80 grade. But, you know, $578, $88 plus $10 shipping. That's a pretty good price for a 20 back Death Star droid. A couple of different die-cast mint-on cards sold. This is the Land Speeder, and this was the Canadian Land Speeder. You can see La Guerre des Étoiles. It did have some kind of creasing going on in the upper right-hand corner on the back of the card, but beautiful crystal clear blister. The blister was in great shape. Beautiful example, $624.77 took that home, free shipping. That to me was a pretty good buy there. And as a reminder, if you do have some mint on cards or some loose figures, loose graded creatures, play sets, diecast, whatever you got, you can reach out to me by email, actionfiguregrader@gmail.com. I'll put you in touch free of charge with some trusted sellers, some trusted buyers that are looking to buy collections. And I've had a number of subscribers reach out recently and had great success. Everyone's been super happy with the prices and very smooth transactions, 100% trusted. So reach out to me by email if you don't want to deal with eBay and the hassle of eBay and all the eBay fees, things like that. actionfiguregrader@gmail.com. The other diecast, this is one I really wanted to buy. It did not last on the market long. This was sold by Strong Vision, who is over in Germany. So I had to pay, fairly high shipping costs of $42, but I wanted this one so bad. This is the diecast Twin Pod Cloud Car. I would love to have this for my Cloud Car run. And this card back was in fantastic shape, unpunched, just a little bit of like sticker residue in the upper left-hand corners. You can see one little light fold there, but I think this is an overall 80 pretty easily. The blister was in great shape. It looks to be clear blister, one little ding there in the lower right-hand corner, but how beautiful is that example? And that sold for 418 euros, which is 446 US dollars plus shipping. I would have paid that all day long. If it wasn't Hake's auction time, I probably would have bought this because I really want to get one of these at some point. But I think that was a great buy, whoever got that one. Just a gorgeous example of the die-cast Twin Pod Cloud Car. I've got two of them loose graded in process right now at CAS, but this mint on card was just fantastic. I got a couple of different Han Bespins that sold. This was the 41 back B, unpunched, really fantastic shape. The blister looked to be crystal clear. That sold for $695. And then likewise, here was the free Revenge of the Jedi 48 back C, I believe. It's either the B or the C, hard to tell there, but it looks like the B or the C. Crystal clear blister, again, just a gorgeous example. It was a punched example with just one little ding there in the upper right-hand corner, but that one's probably easily an 80 or 80 plus grade. That one sold for $725. So two gorgeous examples of Han Bespin, one for $700, one for $725. The 41 back D and either the B or the C, hard to tell there, but two really nice examples, both of them crystal clear blisters. This is another good buy. I thought this was the 77 back Death Star droid on the Return of the Jedi card back. I've already got it in my collection, but I saw this get listed and I knew it would sell. It was just a matter of how much. It had a Toys R Us price sticker and it was a punched example, but the card was in really great shape. Blister was in really good shape. It did have some very light yellowing to it. $450 was the list price. The best offer that was accepted was $350. So to me, that was a pretty good buy. Probably would grade out at an 80 pretty easily. And, it's tough to find that one in a clear blister. Mine also has yellowing to it. But I think that was a really good buy. $350 for that was a steal, in my opinion. Here was a 45 back Palitoy Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have no idea if this is a Toy Tony or not. My gut says it probably is just because it's an 85 grade. But I did not look it up on Mr. Palitoy's card back guide to see if that was on the Toy Tony list, but pretty nice looking example. This sold in an auction for 509 pounds, which is 612 US dollars. The market seems to think that it's not a Toy Tony. So, who knows? But, usually Toy Tonys, I think that this would probably sell at $400 to $500. So this sold for 612. So it very well may not be on the 45 back Toy Tony list, but certainly a nice looking example either way of the Ben Kenobi on the Palitoy card back. Next up, we've got the very first item on eBay that I've found that was part of the Morphe's auction find that we covered back in January. This was an AFA 60 example of the Barada. And, as I mentioned, CAS is labeling, should the submitter wish to have it on the label, 2023 Morphe auction. And this is the Barada with the coin. And it was graded CAS 60. So the card got a 60, the blister 85, figure 80. And so as I mentioned when I had my recap for the Morphe's auction, not everything was quote-unquote case fresh. And this is an example of that. It got a 60 grade. So I hope that for some of you that you didn't overpay for it. I don't know what the final sales price in the Morphe auction was. I hope they got it for a good deal. Because it only got a 60 with CAS. But I do think it's pretty cool that CAS is labeling these as part of the Morphe auction. I imagine we're going to find more and more of these start to hit the market, whether they're CAS or AFA graded. But this one only got the 60, and it did sell for $400. So again, there was a premium, in my opinion, for the fact that it was part of the Morphe auction. And I told you guys, I was like, hey, I think once we see these graded by CAS, and if they're labeled as part of the 2023 Morphe auction find, that they might get a premium. And I would argue that a CAS 60 mint on card Power of the Force Barada that was not part of the Morphe find would not sell for $400. But it did sell. It sold for $400 plus $15 shipping. And then finally, we had an AFA 85 plus Luke Skywalker poncho, unpunched, and it was yellowed, obviously, but it was an 85 plus with an archival case. The card got a 90, blister 85, figure, it looks like an 85, so for an overall 85 plus. So that's a really great example, admittedly with some yellowing to the blister, which is common for these Power of the Force figures. This one sold at auction for $767 on 37 bids, free shipping. That closed on March 3rd, so big money for a very high-grade Luke Skywalker Last 17 figure. Anyway, that's all I really had for this video. Some pretty surprising prices, but it's pretty cool to see the very first Morphe's auction find graded and at auction on eBay. I'm sure we're going to see more of those as you know, some of the grading companies turn those around, but very cool to see that one sell on eBay. So thank you again for watching, and I'll be back soon.